Good evening and welcome to ENN. I'm Mackenzie J.
And I'm Taylor Jean Shadle, and this is your weekly news update.
Edinboro University is planning to launch a new website that will be directed towards recruiting new students. Bill Berger, Director of Marketing at Edinboro University, said the new Edinboro website is much more dynamic with a fresh design, large visuals, and an enhanced homepage rotator prominently featuring stories of success at Edinboro. We are also very proud of our new virtual tour, which integrates photos and video into a comprehensive snapshot of campus, and something many high school students said was essential. The website's launch is planned for the weekend of February 7th.
If you were looking for that app to find all things Boro, your search has now come to an end. Edinboro's newest app, Boro Sync, is now up and running for everyone's use. Boro Sync is Edinboro University's specific portal where university students can connect with organizations, programs, and departments on campus in a private online community. The ultimate goal for Boro Sync is to provide students with a better way to connect with the rest of campus and take control of the co-curricular experience here at Edinboro. Some tips to keep in mind when using Boro Sync are you can only access the site through Internet Explorer. Your login will be your Scott's email and your My Edinboro password. Once logged on, students are able to join organizations, post on discussion boards, and access a community calendar. Check out Boro Sync today.
When students log into their student accounts, a new feature will be available. The suggestion box located in the bottom right corner of the web page allows students to send suggestions to the university. ETV reporter Tracy Geibel has more on the story.
During the past week, students
Julie Woolman spoke about the new suggestion box feature on students' My Edinboro accounts.
We decided that we know a lot of people have good ideas, they have suggestions they'd like to share, and they may not want to use the other venues for making those, and they may want to do it anonymously, so that's why we put it up there.
While students have other options to give suggestions to the university, the suggestion box is one way they can remain anonymous.
The idea is we want everyone to feel like they're heard and to have an opportunity to share good ideas. A lot of people have really good ideas and suggestions, but they may not feel they have any way to share them.
However, students can put their email in the suggestion box to allow the university to respond to their suggestions.
Sometimes we really want to answer them. We either to say that's a good suggestion, but we can't do it because of some kind of regulation or something, or that's a great suggestion, tell me more about that, or just explain why things are the way they are. And when it's anonymous, you can't do that. So it's almost like you want to have a conversation with the person, but you can't. But I think that that's one of the values of it, is that people feel comfortable submitting suggestions because it is anonymous.
President Woolman encourages students to use this new feature to give her and the university new ideas on how to improve.
We really do pay very close attention to them. Everyone is read carefully. We try to respond to them. We look into what the problem is when we get the suggestions, so keep them coming because they do get close attention. And
I'm Tracy Geibel with ETV News.
During the past week, students interested in becoming resident assistants went to information sessions to learn more about the job. Tracy Geibel has more on the story.
From January 27th until January 30th, students attended RA selection information sessions to learn more about the process of becoming an RA and what the job entails. Students that are already RAs spoke at these meetings. And while many people know that some of the perks of being an RA include a single occupancy room and a salary for 14 hours a week, the job requires a lot more work than that. Senior Tyler Burkhart has been an RA 5 times. He said, "You have to have the passion and the drive and be willing to work with people." Students considering being an RA must have their applications turned in by February 13th.
New rules for RAs require them to be in their room more often as they get limited nights that they can actually go out. These new rules were put in place to allow for more community building on the floors.
The Edinboro wrestling team will be welcoming Ohio State University to Macomb Fieldhouse later this month. And you have to plan ahead to make sure you don't miss any of the action. The fifth-ranked Scots host the third-ranked Buckeyes as part of the Division I Mat Mayhem. The 2015 EAS Sports Nutrition NWCA National Duels on Sunday, February 15th at 1 p.m. No complimentary passes or student IDs will be accepted as admission. Pre-sale tickets are on sale in the athletic department offices in Macomb Fieldhouse, room 114 from 8:30 to 4 p.m. until February 4th. Advance tickets are $8 for adults and $4 for students. Tickets at the door are $10 for adults and $5 for students. Tickets can also be purchased online at gofightingscots.com and on the wrestling page.
The campus radio station WFSC 88.9 FM will be launching their new radio format featuring the greatest hits of modern rock. According to a press release, the station will switch to a broad rock format and upgrade its public service announcements. WFSC has become a part of the reorganization of the three campus media groups, including ETV and the campus newspaper The Spectator. The switch will go live on WFSC 88.9 on February 16th.
Coming up, we have a look at Greek Week featuring the sororities of Edinboro University and how students have a chance to have some fun on Super Bowl Sunday.
You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
Danse, balance sur la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou, ton
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
On Saturday, Edinboro University sororities held Meet the Greeks. This event was to let interested students know about the 6 sororities and let them meet sisters. This event was carnival themed and featured cotton candy carnival games and information about every Greek organization. Each sorority will hold events this week to give potential members a closer look at Edinboro's Greek life. If you want more information about Edinboro's Greek life, email Evan Diddy at ed123336@scots.edu.
Paul Rovang, an English professor at Edinboro University, recently published a book that gives insight on certain criticisms on different pieces of work. Taylor Buffington has more on the story.
I spoke with Edinboro English professor Dr. Paul Rovang about his recently published book, Mallory's Anatomy of Chivalry, Characterization in the Morte d'Arthur.
A work of criticism on a series of stories from the Middle Ages entitled The Morte d'Arthur, which are the tales of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Rovang explained the process of getting his book published.
Her publication proposal actually fell apart because the publisher backed out. So here I was with this manuscript. And I then submitted it to one of my former publishers, Fairleigh Dickinson University Press, and they accepted it.
Rovang talked about how he came up with the idea and what inspired him to write Mallory's Anatomy of Chivalry.
I just thought about what hasn't been done and what am I interested in doing, and I found that not very much had been written in comprehensive terms about characterization in the Morte d'Arthur. So I set out on that and found that this was something that I could run with.
This is Taylor Buffington reporting for ETV.
If you would like to purchase a copy of the book, you can go to Amazon.com or visit Dr. Rovang in Centennial Hall.
Looking for something to do on campus? There's always a great movie showing in the theater at the Student Pogue Center, every week sponsored by the UPB. This semester, these movies include Hunger Games, Mockingjay, The Theory of Everything, Into the Woods, Annie, and finishes the semester with American Sniper. Student admissions is always free, and for the general public, it only costs $1.
The Super Bowl was held this past weekend, and Edinboro got in on the action. The Borough Bowl 2015. Students enjoyed a live performance from the band The New Velvet, free food, in the big game. The New England Patriots beat the Seattle Seahawks 28-24.
When we come back, we will give you the latest news in global and check on your weekly weather report. Stay tuned.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups and so always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
My pot of gold, your daddy's little girl, to heaven home.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hello, I'm Ben Jackson, and this is your ETV Global News. The Malaysian government has stated that the missing Malaysia Flight 370 is now officially an accident, and all 239 of the passengers and crew members are presumed dead. The statement was given last Thursday by the Civilian Aviation Director Azharuddin Abdul Rahman. The Malaysian flight disappeared from radar on March 8th after taking off from Kuala Lumpur heading for Beijing. President Barack Obama cut his visit to India short last week in order to attend the funeral of Saudi Arabia. To Saudi Arabia to attend the funeral of King King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, who passed away on January 23rd. Abdullah was known as the most progressive and liberal-minded king in Saudi Arabia since the 1970s. Abdullah died after being admitted to the hospital several weeks ago for pneumonia. Prince Salam bin Abdulaziz is reported to have been appointed the new king of Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, back in Washington, the White House falls victim to a drone strike, but not the kind you're thinking of. A small recreational drone crashed into the White House lawn last Monday. The pilot, a government employee, was reportedly flying the drone around 3 a.m. when he lost control and crashed it into a tree in the south lawn of the White House. The crash was the latest in several security breaches that have occurred at the White House. And while the President and First Lady were still overseas when the crash took place, their two daughters were home during the incident with their grandmother. The U.S. Embassy in Yemen has been closed down due to the recent resignation of the Yemen President, Prime Minister, and Cabinet and other security issues. Embassy officials stated that they were unable to provide routine services and will have limited and ability to provide assistance to cases involving U.S. citizens. The embassy will remain closed until further notice. Well, that's it for Global News. Stay tuned after the break for weather, followed by the Fighting Scots Sports Report.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Danse, balance la cadence, on lève bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou, ton
You didn't give up on sex? Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Bring this one. My pot of gold, your daddy's little girl, till heaven home. Got me precious.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hi, I'm Tracy Geibel with your weekly weather forecast. Here I have a map of the high and low pressures and how they're going to affect you in the short term. You'll see that we have some high pressures over here, but on the other side, we have some low pressures in through the Midwest. The low pressures are going to bring in some precipitation, while the high pressures are hopefully going to bring in some good weather. However, later in the week, you're going to see that the low pressures are over here in the east, and over here in the southwest, there's going to be some high pressures ushering in good temperatures. As for your weekly forecast, tonight we're going to have a 30% chance of snow with a high of 20 degrees. However, our low tonight is going to be -3. So if you're out walking across campus, you're going to want to make sure you're bundled up. On Tuesday, our high is going to be 23 and a low of 19. It's going to be nice outside. It'll be nice to see some sunshine. While it's mostly clouds, we will see some sun in that. However, as we hit Wednesday, we're going to see more snow, high of 30 and a low of 3. Thursday, some more sunny skies. We're going to have a high of 14, but as the night comes and the sun begins to set, we're going to see some low temperatures. We're going to be at -8 degrees. On Friday, those sunny skies are going to continue, and the temperature is going to come back up. We're going to see a high of 16, low of 11. I know it's not very warm, but it's much better than some of the other temperatures we're seeing this week. Saturday and Sunday, there's a 40% chance of snow. High of 25 on Saturday, low of 13. If we see some precipitation on Saturday, there's a good chance there's going to be freezing rain. Sunday, however, if we see precipitation, it should be snow. Now let's take a look at the nor'easter and how that's affected weather conditions this past week. The northeast coast got hit with over 30 inches of snow. And here in this picture from the Washington Post, you can see just how much snow they had. It caused many flooding problems in that area. The reason this happened, largely because of high pressure. Normally, high pressure is associated with calm, clear conditions, but with the clockwise spinning of the winds and the high pressure came in contact with a warm, mild air mass. Thus, the perfect storm conditions were formed, and the Northeast has seen quite a bit of precipitation this past week, as I know Edinboro has too. And that's all I have for you with this weekly weather update. Next will be Tyler Trumbauer with your Sports Scots report. I said that wrong.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
Balance la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex? Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Hey, good game. Oh, there we go. Great game, man. Let's go get a win! This year's MVP goes to Jake.
Take steroids and eventually everyone will see you for what you really are. A fake, a fraud, an asterisk. Don't be an asterisk.
Hello and welcome to this week's Fighting Scots Sports Report. I am Tyler Trumbauer. The wrestling team battled with George Mason University on Saturday in Fairfax, Virginia. Edinboro won the 31-14 in the first ever EWL meeting between these two schools, making it the fourth straight dual meet victory for Borough. Mitchell Port, Patrick Jennings, and Vic Avery all won by fall. Also, the victory clinched at least a share of the EWL title as the Scots are 5-0 in the league with one more dual league meet remaining. The squad returns home to wrestle Lockhaven on Friday at 7 p.m. in Macomb Fieldhouse before hosting the Edinboro Open on Saturday in the Mike S. Zafarofsky Sports and Recreation Dome. The women's basketball team is nearing a PSAC tournament berth and got one step closer against Seton Hill on Wednesday. Let's get right into the action here. Anya Freeland gets this jumper to fall. 1 minute into the contest makes it 2-2. The Scots were hot from three as Lauren Hippo connected there to make it 10-7. Freeland finishes strong here, gets the hoop and the harm. She finished with 20 points. Hippo with a nice jumper here from Majeski makes it 37-25 late in the first half. But the Griffins did climb back into it a little bit later, and as they drained that shot to make it 80-70 late in the second half. The Scots went on to win 86-73. The Scots fell to Cal on Saturday, 75-48, to move to 14-6 overall and 11-5 in the PSAC. The ladies host Gannon on Wednesday night at 5:30 p.m., which is the Make-A-Wish Awareness Night at Macomb Fieldhouse before visiting Mercyhurst Saturday afternoon. The Gannon tilt can be seen live on ETV and online at edinboro.tv. The ladies have been a staple of the PSAC tournament in recent years, but they may not be the only Borough Hoops squad participating in the conference postseason action this season. In year two under head coach Pat Cleary, the Scots are in great position to earn one of the 6 playoff spots in the West. The Scots got off things to a good start against the Hill with Will Merrill's nice drive in the bucket to get a 2-0 lead. Sam Seeley's James got the squad a 9-4 lead there. Will Morrow, the nice finish there to get to 17 points. Seton Hill kept it close, though, making it 45-25 later on, but the Scots went on to win 77-54. The squad beat the Cal Vulcans on Saturday evening by a final score of 68-59 to increase its win streak to 4 straight games on this season, bringing them back from the basement of the Western Division and to improve to 11-9 overall and 8-8 in the PSAC. The Scots face Gannon at 7:30 on Wednesday and battle the Mercyhurst Lakers on Saturday at 3 p.m. The Gannon game can be seen live on ETV or online at edinboro.tv. The swim teams wrapped up the 2014-15 regular season over the weekend at Malone University. The men fell short in the finale while the women were victorious to cap off the regular season. Nicholas Wilkinson, Josh Bebo, and the usual cast of women were among the Fighting Scots to earn victories on Saturday night. That concludes the regular season for the swim teams. They will now have a few weeks to rest and prepare for the PSAC Championships, which are held February 19th through the 22nd in York, Pennsylvania. The indoor track and field team returned to the Spire Institute on Saturday to compete in the Midwest Indoor Open. Breanne Dietrich registered the lone victory for the Scots on the day in the long jump, where she set an NCAA provisional mark. Also, Casey Jones set an NCAA provisional mark with her time in the 3K run, which also is her personal record. Allison Gibbons was the only other Fighting Scot to finish in the top 10. The team competes in the Oberlin Invitational this Friday. Although the calendar just changed and the spring semester commenced a few weeks ago, we are already looking towards the fall, as late last month, head football coach Scott Browning announced Edinboro's 2015 schedule. Unlike last season, the Scots will remain in the borough for the first 2 weeks of the season. They will host St. Joseph's of Indiana on Thursday, September 3rd at 7 p.m. in the first ever meeting between the two as the schools entered a home-and-home contract. Edinboro will host Shippensburg the following week to open up its PSAC schedule. Edinboro will host Clarion on October 10th for homecoming and also host Slippery Rock, the defending PSAC champion, at Sox Harrison Stadium on Halloween. That's all for this week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ETV Sports to stay up to date on all the latest borough athletic happenings.
My dad's one of the producers who's there today.
Bring this week.
That's all the news we have for you this week. Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Borough Television.
Also, if you have any story ideas, feel free to email us at edinborotv@gmail.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.